What's going on, gamers? We got an Xbox video here to cover. As usual, you know what AGN does when, he sees the obvious that he's called out for a long time and then more proof consistently comes out. As I told you, when it comes to the Xbox world, you can get 30 negative articles and 1 negative from PlayStation and maybe Nintendo every once in a while, but Microsoft's not going to let you beat them on that. Are we ready? They're about to do something even more pathetic. Blow to transparency. Yeah, that's the key word here. Let's talk about the beginning of this video right here. What is the key word? Remember this, guys. This should be a headline of this video. Blow to transparency. You know what transparency means, right? Somebody's being transparent. You want transparency. That means you're actually being respected, right? Xbox hides its digital sales. Oh, man. Company is pathetic. You're not getting physical sales. You're not getting sales from Xbox anymore, right? Remember, you weren't getting sales from Xbox anymore. They started hiding them. Now they're not sharing sales with any partners anymore. They want to completely hide the failures of Xbox from you. Because what this means is they can be more fake. They can hide the failures of Gears of War, hide the failures of any future Xbox game so that you can't see anything. But certain people are going to find out in some sort of fashion, right? This is what's going on. This is what I try to tell you about this company. This tells you how fake this CEO is. She's not becoming more transparent for you. Now they're hiding the digital sales. They're hiding the failures. She wants to hide and mask the failures. It's here right in front of your face. Are we ready? Become a member for $3 or hit that free trial, right? Leave a tip down below, like, comment, and subscribe. Are we ready? Microsoft has made the decision to withdraw from Circana's NPD data panel. That's what I was trying to tell you. The numbers there are legit. They used to give them to him. This is something people had to do every single month. Now they're deciding to just withdraw. They don't want you to see them anymore. It's too hard to get on the camera, isn't it, for certain people? Microsoft doesn't want you to see them. They want to be like this. They don't want you to see anything. They're afraid. And the only reason you do this is because you're failing. Nintendo never shared digital data, but when their physical results come out, they let out everything. They hide nothing because they're confident and they know they're better than you. PlayStation kind of does that, but not as much as they used to. But they'll share numbers with you, but not as much. Ever since Nintendo Switch started dominating like crazy and their software first-party sales have been through the roof, Sony kind of backed off a bit. But when it was just against Xbox in the Wii U generation and before that, they were sharing, no problem, because they were very confident in their numbers. But PlayStation doesn't hide like everything, but I feel like they should let out everything like Nintendo does. If it's under 1 million, Nintendo doesn't show it, but for the most part, they show everything. Ceasing to provide its official digital sales figures to the industry. Now, I want to ask you a question. Remember what I said that when the CEO got in here, when it comes to actual results, you have not seen any growth. That's how bad that sinking ship is. It's a Titanic. And she's walking in at the end, just blah, blah, blahing. Logo, achievement little thing, this little icon, this and that, the boot up animation, and we're going to do exclusives. Then we're going to hide our numbers. You can't hide the Steam CCU, though. Everybody's going to figure it out, at least by looking at that. But outside of that, yeah, there's going to have to be some other digging around. The key consequences of this move. Remember, we got another post to get to with this. The community and the industry lose one of the last external and impartial sources for measuring the commercial success of Xbox games. Amid the lower weight of console sales, Game Pass metrics that blur traditional sales and multi-platform launches, evaluating whether its strategy is working will be harder than ever. Yeah, of course, they're just making it more rougher for anyone else so that you can't have honest transparency. What's wrong with honest results? Unless you're a liar and you're failing. Then you want to make up stuff like player numbers and monthly active users, all this garbage fake numbers, but you don't want to give real results because, like I said, failing. right there in front of your face. But Xbox fanboys just can't seem to figure this out because they're fake. They don't want the truth to be revealed. Now, here's the funny thing. If you actually think about it, which is kind of funny, why would Xbox fanboys be okay this whole time with Microsoft hiding results themselves? You want to know why? Because the company itself is just like its fanboys. They all act the same way. Or they just easily let them be brainwashed, and they know that Microsoft is failing, Xbox is failing, sales don't matter, exclusives don't matter anymore, exclusives only matter in Nintendo world. Oh, I'm the one that said that. Oh, exclusives don't do this or do that. And all of a sudden they jump all over that. They just literally do that because they're not in the position of PlayStation. But they so bad want to be. But if they're not, then what ends up happening is they play this little shell game, and they cope and they grift and they parrot and they try to distract you so that you don't pay attention to their failures. But everybody knows how bad it is. This only exists in the Xbox world now. Steam isn't failing except in hardware, right? Steam Machine is a total flop, just like the Steam Deck. But outside of that, they do a really good job on their market by being pirates and vampires. Sans a ton of other people's games. Whereas Nintendo has gotten where they've gotten historically from the beginning to the end, saving the gaming industry, being the pioneering company that opened the doors to save gaming. And all the way from NES to Super NES to Game Boy to every handheld and console all the way up to now, they have led the way with their IPs. They were not carried by Madden, GTA, 2K, Call of Duty, FIFA, consistently. Battlefield, all these games that are always launching consistently yearly or every other year or 2 years that they need desperately in those worlds. Of course, you need third-party support. Nintendo didn't rely on that. It was literally all in-house for the most part. And they don't lay off people. They're a totally different company, and they're not about power. And they inspire the industry and have the highest metas and highest software sales of all time. Like I'm telling you, it's different when you're doing that because you're doing that from your insights rather than just grabbing a whole bunch of other games and leeching off of them. You see the difference there between Nintendo, Sega, Sony, and Microsoft? Sega was the closest back then. But they just didn't have the power, the marketing, and it just didn't have it in the long term. But they were not too bad back then. They were actually pretty good. PlayStation now has first party. They've actually improved that lately. And they have like power launches. But at least they found a balance, and they still had some IPs that were theirs. They're just really good at moving hardware and getting a whole bunch of other developers that people have already built up, and a bunch of third-party lock-ins and stuff only in their ecosystem. And they worked massively to make the third-party industry bigger, along with PlayStation hardware moving with that to have the install base. Like Sony actually works with their partners and helps them grow. They're not on Nintendo, but you actually need them. They're very important. It's almost like as important as Nintendo's first party is how important Sony's third party is for the industry. Like those two Japanese giants, you need both of them for both of those worlds. You see how important it is. And then Nintendo's third party is now amazing in the Switch 2 era. You seeing it now? Look at that support. I go on the eShop all the time, man. Third party games are up there all the time. They're getting major support. A lot of companies are happy now. They're saying they're getting really good success on there, and it's actually helping them big time. Square was one of the most recent companies to come out and say that. Everybody's putting everything on there. So that helps the third-party industry. Whatever Microsoft fell on, Nintendo is actually there now, and it's actually growing more and more every single day. And where Nintendo's growing in the third-party like that, Sony's actually growing in the first-party since like the end of the PS3 era. Though PlayStation 5 had a shaky foundation this generation, PS4 was fire in a certain sense. PS3, it was good towards the end. PS2 was obviously good. PS1 was good. PlayStation 5 has kind of had like some up and downs, but overall it still is a good generation, and Sony's going to finish it strong. But it's not an amazing generation, I would say, from a first party standpoint. But it had a bunch of good third party games. You can't say third party games this generation was not really good. There's a lot of them. But where Sony dropped the ball is not having that golden window manifested, where it's like, you had a golden opportunity here. You could have had a golden generation. Now Nintendo's here back again, and I tell you what, it's going to be tough. So yeah, amid the lower weight of console sales, Game Pass metrics that blur traditional sales and multi-platform launches, evaluating whether its strategy is working will be harder than ever. No, we already know they're failing. It's not that hard to figure it out. What do you think of this growing lack of transparency? It's cowardly. With sales figures, I'm all ears. We all know it's all just failure. Better yet, now we'll have to talk about games and not sales for the gossip, since literally it's never been good for anything else. No, bro, it means everything. If you got a 400 million budget and you don't hit it, that's going to cause low morale, layoffs, series to die, outsourcing to go out. Don't play this game with me. I take people, let me tell you something. I take people serious when they realize how important hardware sales is and software sales. It also says a lot about your community, the interest in the gaming community. Are you reaching the gaming community? Don't tell me hardware sales don't matter when if somebody launches a video game and if you don't have the install base, how are you going to support it? Just stop playing that game. This will only come from people who are in the Xbox world that lost so bad that they say that, or they left the Xbox world and they went into the PC world and they say the same thing, because Steam doesn't buy a whole bunch of games like that. You're not getting the highest sales. So because PlayStation makes sales look so high in the third-party world, and some of their first-party sales are good, and Nintendo has juggernaut sales, and it's not fitting the metric of people that are locked in those worlds, they want you to ignore that because that's a winning metric that they can't handle. It's like, you're insane to me if you're going to be on the market and tell me sales don't mean anything. If you're commissioned and you're not getting sales, oh, sales don't matter. Man, get the hell out of my building. I'll fire you. You ain't making no money then. You ain't getting no commission sales. Go into a car dealership and tell them sales don't mean anything to you. You ain't getting hired. Go to any company and tell them you're not getting sales. You're crazy as hell. If I got 150 million install base, what you mean I'm not selling a lot? Put those games in that market, see what happens. Now go to the 20 million install base and tell me the sales don't matter. You are full of it. It's a grift game. Stop playing games. Going down. Information is power. Anything that means not having, it will always be bad news. My point exactly. Transparency is important. What you mean you don't want to mean sales don't matter? That's business growth. That means everything. You hiding it because it ain't positive. This is what I'm saying. Everything is changing because of that. Let's go back up here. EA is also joining in. Xbox and EA aren't sharing US digital sales with Circana anymore. As of July 2026, Xbox is no longer a Circana digital data sharing panel participating publisher. EA also dropped its Circana membership around the time it went private. Circana relies on publishers' platforms to share digital storefront sales. Physical sales still come from retailers. I want to hide. I don't want you to see anything. Oh my God. Xbox exit hides first-party US digital sales, including Call of Duty. They're not going to even show you Call of Duty sales no more. It also further obscures sales from publishers not on the panel, such as Ubisoft and now EA. Nintendo already does not share digital. Its Circana numbers are estimates. But Nintendo gives you full results when they do their physical, though. They let out everything. You get to see all the sales. So we're going to get back to this. You want me to show you something, guys? Let me give you an example of what they don't like, all right? Let's go take a look at this. This is actually going to be funny. Xbox fans wonder why so many third-party games skip their crap ecosystem. So for 007, PlayStation sold 2.6 million, PC 1.2, Xbox 200,000. They're only 5% of the sales. They don't want you to see this. This is what I'm saying. Xbox fanboys don't buy games. They want this on Game Pass. Hey, man, I'm just saying the proof is in the pudding. Why is this right here? You don't want to see other games. That's why you got to get put on Game Pass. Oh, 1 million players played that on Game Pass. You could already have the membership, but you didn't support the game at all. You just hit play because you already paid Microsoft. See, it was Microsoft that's getting your subscription money, but the developer is not getting a sale. Microsoft's going to have to give them money to make them feel like they're getting sales. This was the game the whole time. They're not doing that anymore, though. So I just said that's over with. Why do you think Game Pass game launches have been garbage lately? Have you seen them? It's pathetic. And now Gears is on its way to the slaughterhouse. You saw those Steam numbers and pre-orders, they're down big time. All I'm doing is showing the truth and they can't handle it. This is why they get mad at me. I'm not coming in saying developers and games are garbage. It's just, no, I'm just literally pulling back the curtain and telling the truth. That's all AGN is doing. And it makes them upset because if you don't like the truth, then you're a fraud and a liar. What's wrong with the truth? The truth sets you free. The truth actually shows you what you need to actually improve. Why do you think no improvements ever happen really in this world? Because it's a lying fraud company that does not support like you think it does. People don't grow with them. It's almost like it's a curse to get in bed with Microsoft. Because I told you, when it comes to growth, like you think about taking care of a garden or photosynthesis, right? It's like, it's growing, so light is there. You never see it. It's almost like it's just a dead machine hellhole. Or a bunch of suits and agents and of chaos and just like, it's always like, what is this, man? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you want to see that, right? But it just doesn't seem to be possible. And now everything is being hidden from you. They're hiding the truth from you. How is this good? AGN out. Become a member. Leave a tip down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you later. Yeah, don't get mad at AGN. AGN's keeping it real. AGN's not hiding nothing from you. He's showing you behind the curtain of the Wizard of Oz. If you can handle it or not. Might have to put "You Can't Handle the Truth" Jack Nicholson scene at the end of my videos. I started off like that. Yeah, because that's what it's seeming like. So, yeah, later, y'all. Just saying. AGN out. I got to do something Microsoft's doing. Hold on.